So you hate your job. Good. I'll be honest with you, this could be the most important realization that you come across in your entire life. Okay? It certainly was for me because when I was working back in the union, back in 2013, I was absolutely miserable. And I'm talking about like, waking up in the morning at 5 in the morning to an alarm clock that every morning was just a rush. I was always behind. I was always getting caught in traffic, showing up, just on time or late. And it was always just a rush. And it's really just impacted my entire day. And I was just constantly in a bad mood. And yeah, it was just terrible. But that realization that I hated that job caused me to actually start thinking about what else I'd actually want to do. And that's when everything starts to shift. Okay. Because honestly, it definitely does start with the realization that you hate your job. All right. You'd rather be doing something else. Okay. So once you have that realization, why would you continue doing something that you don't want to do? It's a really important question to ask yourself because most people are doing things that they don't want to necessarily do. Right? Whether it's, smoking, drinking, eating bad food. We all know that we shouldn't be doing these things, but we continue to do them. But it's just because we haven't identified something that we could do instead of what we're doing now. And that's why I'm so passionate about helping people identify a business idea that actually inspires them. Because then you can start doing something about this situation of you hating your job. But that's the only time you'll actually do something is when you have something else that you've identified as a better thing to do, right? Even though you hate your job, if you don't have any other options, then you can't do anything else, right? You have to just continue, habitually operating the way you are, where you're waking up every morning miserable to an alarm clock, getting stuck in traffic, complaining, maybe, you know, just having a bad day. Like if you continue to do that, you just need to stop. Sometimes you just need to stop and just give yourself the opportunity to think, to actually think, okay, I don't want this result anymore. I don't want to do this job anymore. What would I rather be doing? And for most of us, we're not going to just right out of the gate, ideas are going to just stop popping into our head. We have to be intentional about sitting down and just brainstorming, spending some time to just intentionally grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, and just write down ideas. Okay. This is the hardest work that you'll ever do is to sit down and intentionally think about what you actually want. All right. And in this case, this is about your career, right? And the reason why this is so important is because your job, what you do for a living, your career is such a big part of your life that if you're not happy, if you're not fulfilled with that job, that career, it's going to trickle into every area of your life, right? That feeling of unfulfillment and disappointment or just being annoyed by doing something that you just don't want to do, that is going to start trickling to every area of your life. So if you have a relationship or, you're married, kids, you're going to be coming home after work and bringing that negative energy into the house. You're going to, you're going to be on a phone conversation and you're just going to be spewing just a just negative attitude, right? And nobody really wants to hear that. So you got to be careful about that. And it also, it causes a lot of people to fall into like depression, anxiety, all of these, symptoms, and that leads to eating bad, you know, uh, you know, maybe late night snacking. I don't know, like, things like that happen because of, how you feel. You just went through, you just worked 8 hours, 10 hours, whatever it is, of a job that you don't even enjoy. You get home, the last thing you're going to do is do something that's productive and that's good for you. Most people just go home, sit on the couch, grab some food, you know, watch TV, scroll on social media. It's like, now let's just escape this life because you don't enjoy what you're doing. It's mentally depleting your energy. Right, when you work in a job and a career that you actually enjoy, that you get some fulfillment from, you actually gain energy from that. So when you go home, you're not just, checking out, okay? You're actually full of energy, you're able to go hang out with the kids, go, plan a date night, do something productive, maybe go to the gym. Like, the most successful people are doing something that they feel they're of service. And usually those people are very health conscious. They're good with their money. They're intentional about what they're doing. But most people don't enjoy their job, so their energy is getting sucked out of them. They don't take care of themselves. You know what I mean? They're neglecting their health and neglecting their relationships. They're spending money trying to find fulfillment, and that's just not how it works. Okay, you get fulfillment from what you do, from your career, from your job. How do you spend your day? Okay. And that's such a big part of your day, of your life, that we have to just be intentional with it, right? If you do not like your job, all we have to do is draw a line in the sand and say, okay, this situation is not where I want to be. Now, let me just be intentional right now and figure out something that is inspiring to me. Something that excites me, something that I can resonate with, something that I can visualize myself doing and enjoying and seeing myself serving. You know what I'm saying? Like, just to allow that intention of just saying, okay, I'm going to do something about this. I'm not happy where I am. I'm going to do something about it. Because the only way things are going to change is if you change it. All right. That's as simple as it can get. That's the most freeing thing when you actually accept it. Every result that you're getting in your life, if you're not happy with it, you can change it, but only you can change it. Okay, so don't expect the government to change it. Don't expect your friends, your family, your spouse, your kids, anybody else to change it for you. Only you can change it. Okay, and that again should be the most freeing thing that you could ever come across, because you hate your job. Now we can do something about it. Okay. Like, this is literally step one, is just admitting and realizing that you hate what you do right now. And again, this is the most incredible thing. I mean, again, looking back, that was the biggest turning point in my life. And I'm so, so grateful for that. So, um, now one other thing is if you're on this video, right? The maybe the thumbnail or the title caught your eye. You got to ask yourself, do you hate your job? And the first thing that you think is, I want to get another job? Or do you have that internal calling, that feeling like, you know what? I hate this job. I need to start my own business. Because I think that there's two different people, right? Some people just don't even want the hassle of even trying to attempt to start their own business. Like, I don't know. I don't know that I can't relate to that necessarily. So I do believe that's a thing. Like, maybe not everybody wants to start their own business, but everybody could start their own business. Okay? So if you're the type of person that's, realizing you hate your job and you know that you want to start your own business, then I want you to really dig in on the idea of sitting down and figuring out a business idea. Okay. Because that's the first part, because your entire life is going to have to change if you're starting your own business, because again, it impacts everything. Okay. This is a big decision, right? And I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm just saying this is a incredible what you're thinking about doing. But you wanna do it strategically, because there are a lot of people that start businesses that just end up being these jobs that they can't even quit, and the reason why they did that is because maybe they didn't sit down and think of what business idea actually resonates with me, what inspires me. A lot of people look at a business opportunity, right? They see an ad or something online that says, "Hey, you can get rich quick doing this, or you get rich quick doing that." A lot of people fall into that trap, and we're like trained to go for the money, to chase money, right? Whether it's the job, the job, we're trained to just say, "Hey, go get a good job." Oh, that's a good job because it pays well, right? Well, that translates a lot into people when they start their own business, is that they see a business opportunity, think that they can make a lot of money, so they think that that's the good choice. But it's really not, because a lot of the times they don't even enjoy that business. They don't have any, it's not inspiring to them. They don't enjoy the facets of it. Um, but they know that there are other people who made a lot of money doing it. But if you really look at those people who are truly successful, they most likely had some passion or something that they enjoyed about it, right? That allowed them to stick through those tough times. Because every business, I mean, just life in general, you have tough times, right? And a business, you got to be able to push through, and the only way to really push through is to really not necessarily need the money, and if you find something that, again, you're that's inspiring to you, that's, you're passionate about, that whatever that you enjoy doing, then you can stick it through. You can stick through those tough times. Okay? So what I'm getting at is you just need to identify, are you that person that, you've already identified you hate your job. That's one. That's basically step 1, right? That realization. Now, are you thinking, I just need to go get another job? Or are you thinking, I really feel called that I want to start my own business? Okay, just designate, figure that out. If it's a job, go find a job that you're interested in, right? That maybe you have a connection with the owner or something like that. Go for that. But if you want a business, you have to be serious enough to sit down and find a business idea, again, that inspires you, because you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone. You're going to have to take action, do things that you've never done before. Okay? And you have to be truly inspired by this business idea in order to step out of your comfort zone and do things that are just very outside the norm for you. Okay. Like, just saying you want to start your own business does not mean you're going to do anything. You could be on YouTube for hours and hours and hours researching how to start a business. But if you don't have an idea that inspires you, like like for me, I came home one day absolutely miserable from work. And I started researching how to start my own business, came across a book on flipping houses. Okay. That inspired me. I read that book that night. It wasn't a long book. It was probably like 100 pages or something like that, but it resonated with me. And I actually started to see myself in my imagination doing the things that this guy was talking about. And it was super inspiring to me. And again, it like unlocked a whole new world for me. But that's what you want. Because once I found that, I mean, I was I started, listening to podcasts. Never did that before. I started going to seminars. Never did that before. I started to um, experiment with things like door knocking and cold calling and throwing out bandit signs and driving neighborhoods to find vacant properties. Like, it was just mind blowing. And like everybody around me, my friends, my family, like, What the hell is this guy doing?" You know what I mean? Like, I was acting so different. I was saying no to, going out on the weekends, and I was staying in, handwriting yellow letters and, doing all these things that were so new to me. But I was so passionate about this, and I was like, "Man, this idea," and then the opportunity of in real estate, you can make as much money as you possibly want. And that's the cool thing about it is, once you have that business idea, you can start dissecting how you're going to make money, right? Because the business is all about just providing service. So if you can create an offer in your mind, right? Say, okay, I can put this together and I can charge, whatever, $1,000. Okay, now you can start running the numbers. Okay, I want to make $100,000 this year from this, right? So based on that, you need to sell 100 offers, 100 of those offers to 100 people, 100 businesses, whatever. That's the power of having a solid idea, is that you can really start digging in on the numbers side of it and start projecting things, right? Like for me, when I was doing the real estate, I was like, okay, well, I started looking at land because in Nashville, when I moved out to Nashville, I started to realize that new builds were a big thing, right? So now I was looking at these houses that the value wasn't in the house itself, it was actually in the land. So I was able to make offers and say, okay, the land value is 100, no, $50,000 per lot, right? And a lot of these properties were double lots. Okay. So investors were buying those for $100,000 a lot, right? So it's $50,000 per pad, $100,000 a lot is what investors were buying it at, right? So I was making offers at say 80,000, right? And then I started to run my numbers and I could make 20 grand on that one deal. So then if I want to make $100,000 a year, all I had to do was 5 of those. So it just came down to a numbers game as far as making offers, right? And then I could plan this out because I knew what I knew my lane, the lane that I was choosing, right? It was called wholesale and real estate. But I didn't know, like, if all I was at was I want to start my own business, I would never be at that point, right? I had to start digging in, find these things one step at a time. Okay, I want to start my own business. Okay, start reading a book. Read a book on flipping houses, resonated with it, dug in deeper, started figuring out how can I start doing that? What are the action steps I need to take? Right? So it's all just a step-by-step process. And yeah, all you really need to do once you realize that you hate your job, you want to start your own business, is just find that business idea that's going to inspire you to step out of your um, comfort zone and start. And honestly, once you find that business idea, you're going to see your current job no longer as a trap. It's no longer going to be a trap. It's going to be your stepping stone, right? It's going to now be a means to an end. And it's actually going to be funding your exit out of the 9 to 5. Because again, you're going to continue to go to work as of right now, right? Until you really feel confident enough to step out and actually start taking action towards your new business idea. But just the fact that you are making the decision to start your own business, right? We find that idea. Again, now you're grateful for your job because it's, again, providing income so you can live, right? Live a comfortable life. Um, take care of your basic necessities, okay? But then also, it's going to allow you to spend some of that your resources, spend some of your money on educating yourself, on getting accountability, on those resources that can aid you in taking those steps necessary to start your own business, right? There's a great quote from Don Shula that he said, "It's the start that stops most people." And that is the toughest part, is just starting. That's why I'm so passionate about this aspect of just let's focus on the business idea, okay? The business idea is the spark that's going to start everything, right? Because that's where the momentum starts and it builds, okay? So, yeah, so basically what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go back onto the wheel of names and we're going to find another business example, right? So again, my intention with these live streams is to take questions and help you identify a, business idea, right? So we can start the process. And I also started a Facebook group, which I'd love to invite you to, because that way we can work one on one together. And I I guess I could show you the Facebook group too. So now let me share the screen. Entire screen. Okay, so this is the group, right? Start your own business, create true freedom. So what I have planned is that we just spend you jump in, like obviously you're gonna request to join the group, okay? We're gonna come in here. Your first thing that you're gonna do is just gonna make a simple post like this, okay? You're gonna put your name and where you're from. This is going to be your personal post, okay? This is where everything in regards to you is in this post, and it's just going to be through the comments, okay? Anything that you want to add in regards to a business idea, your next steps, your action steps, anything that you've learned, you can put it all in this one post. This group is not like every other group, right? This is not to just be posting and to be networking and all that. Honestly, I don't even believe at the beginning when you're trying to dial in your business idea, I don't believe in a community and all that, because you start looking at everybody else and trying to think, should I do what they do? Should I do what they're doing? Should I do? No. We want to just really focus in on you. What are your hobbies? What are your interests? And let's brainstorm business ideas that will be right for you. Okay? And this is just my way of trying to help a lot of people in one space. Like this group is really for me to be able to interact with you one on one for free right now. Okay. To really just guide you along this journey of starting. Okay. This journey of uncovering a business idea that's right for you. So, again, all we do is, yeah, I'll go in here to one that I actually, oh, I don't know if it's going to show up. All right. Well, either way, what we'll do is, let me see if this is this. Yeah, either way, I created a welcome video, so you can just watch the welcome video when you get in the group. But again, this is not a group where you're just posting, "Hey, how are you today?" and all that kind of stuff. No. You set up your one post and that's it. Okay? And we communicate through this. All you got to do is just, if you want to ask questions, is come in here on the comments and then just tag me at Justin Tarr. And then you just ask question, okay? Question, whatever. And then again, you put in your notes there. I can share, Zoom calls. If we do a one-on-one brainstorming call together, then, I'll share the link in here. So you have everything that you need. I'll share resources in there. So Google Drive links, whatever. I can share everything that you need because you are an individual, right? You're going to need certain resources. Not everybody's going to need the same ones. So that's why I wanted to have this group to really just help you on your individual journey. Okay. And yeah. So again, back to just I just want to show you again my process of um identifying, your hobbies and interests first of all. And then from your hobbies and interests, we can start identifying business ideas that would allow you to replace your income. All right? And that's really the goal right now is just how can we, find a business idea that resonates with you, that inspires you, that you believe would actually be able to replace your income. Because once you have that, that's a great starting point, right? And then it's up to you for however you want to scale it, right? But again, it's the start that stops most people. So let's dive in on starting. So I uploaded 100 hobbies, right? And I actually created, let me see here. If you want this, all you have to do is just comment below hobbies, 100 hobbies, and I'll send you this list. But this list I created just simply to help you find some hobbies. Okay. So you go through this list of 100, right? And you just circle the ones that you're interested in. Maybe it's stock trading, maybe it's playing drums, maybe it's journaling, woodworking, whatever it is, right? Find some hobbies that you're interested in. Okay. And then what you can do is, I'll walk you through that process. So let's just say we're going to come in here and we're going to click the spin. We're going to choose a hobby for today's example. All right. So today's example is women. All right. So now what you do is you just go to ChatGPT. All right. And I'm going to steal these prompts here. So just enter a simple prompt like this, which is, let me see how we doing. So the prompt is give me a list of 10 business ideas based on the hobby of swimming. And again, whatever hobbies that you have, just put them in here. And you can ask for a list of 25. You can ask a list of 100, whatever you want to do. But just for this example, I just want to keep it kind of tight, and then that way we can go through this. But then another aspect is you want to figure out how much money you want to earn a year, right? What would it take to replace your current income? Okay, so for example, we'll just do 100,000, but if you're making 150, 200 grand a year, then put it in here. All right. I highly recommend if you're making 100 grand a year, not to put in $1 million a year. Okay. Let's just start. Okay. I like the mindset of I want to make $1 million a year one day, but let's just replace your income right now, get into a business because again, I believe any business can be scaled. You know, it just any business can be scaled to whatever you want. It could just come down to you just creating multiple versions of that business and whatever. At the end of the day, we just want to start. Okay. Just start with how we can replace your current income. So for this example, again, we're going to do 100 grand. So you just type that prompt in there and it's going to just give you business ideas based around this hobby. So we got 10 business ideas around swimming. So private swim lessons and coaching. So offer one-on-one small group lessons for kids or adults. $75 an hour, 30 hours a week times 48 weeks is 108 grand. Okay, so yeah, that's just a simple, ChatGPT again is a tool that you should be using to just brainstorm. All right, again, these numbers are not exact, okay? If your clientele is, older people, older adults, that have money, maybe it's $200 an hour. right? Could be maybe if maybe it's wealthy people that you're helping. Maybe it's $1,000 an hour. If it just depends on who you're going after, really. Who do you want to help? But again, I just wanted to say that just based off the numbers here, this isn't set in stone. This is just again ChatGPT giving you an example. Add premium packages for triathletes or open water swimmers. Next, you could do swim training online program. Okay, $30 a month, 300 members, 108 grand a year. Open water swim retreats. Okay, so now you're talking about hosting destination retreats. So you're going to do open water swim training, but you're going to make it a experience, right? At a great resort or some retreat center or something. And then you can actually combine the swimming, fitness, and relaxation into um one offer, right? See that this is where it gets awesome. This is where it gets really creative and a very unique to you, right? Because you can, this could easily turn into a CrossFit offer where it's open water swim retreats where you host a destination retreat and then you're doing CrossFit workouts and you hire CrossFit trainers to come in and maybe even have a tournament or you know what I mean? Like the options are never ending. That's the beauty of this. That's why I love the idea of hobbies because most people know a lot about that industry, I guess, or that opportunity or whatever it is. You know a lot about that one topic and some of the facets around it. And then you can just make it your own by your unique approach. Okay. Next, swimming YouTube channel or TikTok, right? I mean, you can start making content right now about swimming, right? You don't even have, I mean, you can do whatever you want on that, but that's just an easy way to get started right now. Technique tips, underwater footage, drills, gear reviews, and motivation. Um, yeah, swimwear or gear brand. So you can launch your own line of eco-friendly swimsuits, goggles, or dry bags. Aquatic fitness classes, triathlon swim coaching, children's swim academy, summer camps, mobile swim instructor service. Travel to clients' pools, homes, hotel, Airbnb. I mean, imagine doing that. Like, imagine you traveling to a resort and having some type of partnership with the resort itself where you can offer swim lessons to people who want to go swimming with the dolphins or something like that. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty cool. But you see how this works? Like you just start brainstorming, you get ideas and then you get inspired by it and you're like, you can't then you get to a point where you can't even sleep because you're so inspired by the idea and you're like you wake up at night, you have all these different ideas, you're jotting down notes in your little notepads and it's just exciting when you get into it. Um so yeah, this is how you at least identify um swim photography and videography. So now you're talking about offering underwater photo shoots or training footage for swimmers. See, that's cool too. So you just go through this, and if these 10 aren't anything that really inspire you, you can ask for more, or you can change the hobby to something else, you know, and just again, just allow yourself to get inspired. Let's just say, for example, we do a mobile swim instructor service. Okay, so what are the steps to start a copy and paste this a mobile swim instructor service business? So now we're going after the actual steps, Okay. First thing is just to kind of figure out like an idea that inspires you or interests you, right? Let's just go with something that sparks an interest. And then you can start really digging into like, okay, well, how would this look if I did start this? Right. And this isn't, again, set in stone. This is not the one way of doing it, right? This is just an idea that GPT is giving you to just, again, brainstorm. So you choose your focus and market, right? Pick the main group that you want to serve. It shapes your pricing, marketing, and tone, right? So you choose, right? Is it kids and parents? Is it adults? Is it athletes? Is it special needs clients? So great. Pick a avatar, basically, right? Or a market. Get certified and insured, right? You'll need credentials to build trust and protect yourself. Okay, so I wouldn't really worry too much about that right now, and I could see that being something that's somebody says, "Oh, I can't do this." You know what I mean? I don't have time to go get a certification, but don't even worry about it. You know what I mean? Like, again, a this is just a brief overview of what it might take. Okay, you still want to really dial in this idea of how this business would look for you. Define your service area. So decide how far you're willing to travel, package and price your offers. Again, this is just a step by step breakdown of how you could start this business, right? And again, this is just ChatGPT's opinion, right? So what else I would do is I would go in here and I would take that prompt that I use for that, and then I would go to YouTube and I would ask YouTube, and I want to see learn to swim. So learn to swim, how to dive into real money, start a mobile business, swim instructor. See, now you start learning from other people who are doing it. Okay, now this is where the inspiration really starts because you start hearing stories about how this person did it and how whatever. So now it gets into Homozy, but and if there's not a bunch of them, then it doesn't really, I mean, that could scream that there's an opportunity. But at the end of the day, I mean, you got this one that you could search, you could Google, how to be a mobile swim instructor. It's just this just opens up the can, right? So if this is really something that you're interested in, this is the type of research that you want to start doing. All right. And this is only going to build on that idea, build that inspiration to a point where you're going to start saying, well, what are the first steps that I could take to start this business? And again, we have not said anything about quitting your job right now. This is all during, this is all while you're still working that job, right? And it doesn't take any real time. I mean, the amount of time people spend on YouTube or social media scrolling, watching TV, you can definitely find 15, 20 minutes a day to do this. And really, once you get this idea in your head and you start building this image of you starting this business, you're going to find a lot of time. You're going to start prioritizing this business idea. And that's when everything changes. That's when everything shifts. Okay. When you start really prioritizing your future, your freedom, you taking control of your income and your time by building a business that is suitable for you, that you're inspired by, that you feel confident is going to allow you to live the life that you want to live. Right. That's the trick here. That's the key. And that's what we're looking for here. So let me see. Let me exit. Oh, shit. Not yet. Sharing. So that's basically what I was trying to get at here is we need that business idea. And that's what I really want to help you with is that business idea. So I again want to do these lives as often as I possibly can just to be there and offer my time to help you start your process, start your journey. I don't know how long it's gonna, allow me to allocate this time, but I'm experimenting myself with my business. I want to attract the right people. All right. This is my way of doing that because I enjoy doing this. I enjoy talking about business ideas. I enjoy brainstorming. This is something that I'm inspired by. This is something that I'm passionate about. So this doesn't take any energy out of me. This is just firing me up. When I get off these live streams, I am jacked up. It's a great time for me to go to the gym after doing these because I am actually so inspired, right? Even if there's nobody with me live, that's the funny thing about this is like that's when I know I'm on the right track is when I am not getting depressed that there's nobody on right now because I know this feels right. And once that chat starts going, right, then things are going to change a little bit. Obviously, I'm going to have to get a little bit more dialed in on this whole process. But that's again why I structured that Facebook group is because if you see where I'm going with this, if you can understand how this process works and how important building that business idea is, that's why I started that Facebook group is because I might not be able to get to your comments or your questions, as this grows. But I just want to make sure that you have a place to go if I can't get to you during this live stream. So that's again why that Facebook group has been created. So that's all for tonight. I hope you got something out of this. And those of you who are on the replay, thanks for joining. And again, make sure you join the Facebook group. All right. I want to really start helping people in that Facebook group. And if that's you, if you know that you hate your job, you want to start your own business, you're willing to take action, and you're willing to spend 15, 20 minutes a day to start being intentional about building this business idea so that you can start taking action, so you can build this business, so you can take control of your income and your time and create true freedom for yourself and maybe your family. This is the time. Okay. You don't have to have everything figured out to get started. That's what this process is all about. Just figure it out as we go. Make the decision that you're going to start your own business, and then let's figure out step one, which is building that business idea. Okay. I'm going to get off. I'm going to stop rambling. Jump onto the Facebook group, request access, and I'll see you over there. All right. Take care.